we're speaking to Paul Rooney, who's living in Crossmaglen for quite a few years and will be well known because you did a lot of journalism down through the years. And what papers were you working for?
Well, my bread and butter was Yama down at Reservoir, who were very good and kind to me. Give me plenty of time off because I liked enjoying myself, and I got plenty of time off with them. But I done freelance. I worked for a lot of papers, radio and the odd TV program over a 30-year spell. But now I've retired and I'm doing a bit of farming and taking it easy as a gentleman farmer.
Very good. And you're originally from?
My people come from a place called Broomfield in County Monaghan, which is on the Dundalk to Carrickmacross, which is on the Castleblaney to Carrickmacross Road, where Ray McKay has his dive-in shop.
The filling station.
Yeah.
And tell me, Paul,
that was our land years ago.
So you wrote for the Sunday World, which was based beside the Europa Hotel in Belfast at that stage.
That's right, yeah.
And so were you ever accepted as a local, or?
Oh, I'm accepted as a local, surely.
You were tolerated, you were saying.
Tolerated, I suppose, yeah.
And take us back to the first day that Ian drove the bus into Crossmaglen and the reaction to it here locally.
Well, when Ian came to Crossmaglen, all the young people flocked to him. It was like the Pied Piper. Forgive me, Ian. Yeah, and they all loved Ian, and they still love Ian, young people. He's a special way of working with young people. The young children's parents, they seen their children much happier after excursions with Ian and after going to his playgrounds. They seemed much happier, and the parents were delighted with Ian as well. But it just so happened that a Catholic clergyman told the people across Crossmaglen to be careful of the, as he called them, the Christians, that I stepped in. And I wrote an article in the Sunday World, and I said that Ian was the best thing that came to Crossmaglen since sliced bread.
So at that stage then there was no Christians thrown to the lions that year?
I'll give you that one. Yeah.
So then, if you take us on down through the years then, and Ian became more accepted, of course, from day one, basically, except for that little bit of a glitch when they were told to watch out, and when the people seen that Ian could be trusted and that the children were enjoying themselves and getting involved in activities that they'd never done before, coming home much happier. Yeah. So how did it go down then? Well,
the whole thing was, I won't say I wielded much power 30 years ago, but you have to remember that 30 years ago was nothing such as Sinn Féin councillors. They didn't exist. And anything I wrote, I'm not putting a bum on my head about it, but anything I wrote, people took note of. And some people would be scared to get the wrong side of me. So when I wrote the article supporting Ian, majority of the vast 99% of the people now support Ian, because the article that I wrote explained truly what his mission is. And his mission is to heal the broken heart by showing aspects of Christianity.
And so they said that the pen is mightier than the sword, and you would have been feared here maybe back in the day of if somebody said something wrong that you would write about them. So were you a bit of a Patrick Kavanagh?
Well, I was never in that league of Patrick Kavanagh. I hadn't that ability, but I used whatever ability I had to do my best. But I knew straight away from day one that Ian and his wife, Pauline, are two very exceptional people. And this town would be much the poorer if he hadn't got them. And I know that Ian has a lot of ideas in his head to develop his crossfire ministry. And I would appeal to Europe, to TDs and councillors in the south, and to the MLAs and councillors in the north and MPs to get behind Ian Botwell's Crossfire Trust and unleash some vitally needed cash funds so he can develop his work further.
Well, there you are. You heard it from Paul Rooney, who's been living here for 50 years in Crossmaglen, originally from County Monaghan. And as he was saying, he was never in the Patrick Kavanagh League, although Patrick Kavanagh didn't know he was in that league himself until he passed away, so you never know what the future holds. We're here at the Christmas markets here at the Crossfire Trust in Cross Square in Crossmidlen, and now we're speaking to Justin Bothwell, who is Ian Bothwell's son. So, Justin, what's your involvement here with the Christmas market?
Well, I'm actually employed by Merrymaking, which is a company that was set up by Crossfire Trust, which is a marquee and higher stage company. So Crossfire actually employed Merrymaking here to set up the marquee for today. So I came along and set the marquee up, and then I stayed along and made the put the barbecue on, made the turkey burgers and stuff out there, and then I help out during the stall and help serve people. And
there's a range of events that you run during the year. Could you tell us about them at Halloween, at Valentine's Day? What's the name of those events and what are they about?
Yeah, so we have run an event at Halloween called Night of Light. It's our alternative to Halloween. We don't encourage any of the spooky stuff. It's just a night for family to come down from the village or from Katy, and just to mix and mingle and drink some pumpkin soup and stuff out there. And then we also run an event on Valentine's Day called Romance in the Land.
Romance in the Land.
Yes.
Tell us about that one.
Well, it's to try and bring the love back into the land that we live in, and also it brings people together. And also we have live music and also plenty of food as well. And
that's like a field day.
Yeah. Well, we run it just one night on Valentine's Day. So you're welcome to come along anytime.
And there's be lots of romantic couples at it.
Yes, well, there's always a romantic couples and also a few singles as well. So you could be lucky.
You'd never know. You'd never know. Okay, thank you for talking to us today, Justin. And now we're speaking to
Martin McGuinness.
Okay. So Martin McGuinness.
Yeah, that's my name, Martin McGuinness. Yeah.
Okay. You get a lot of slagging around here with that.
I do, yes, more than I'm used to, like so.
So when you phone up somewhere and say, "I want a burger and chip, quick," do you say, "Who's speaking?" Martin McGuinness.
Yeah, it takes me a while to, make people know that's my real name. So.
Takes some convincing, all right. So Martin, what are you doing here today?
Well, today I'm helping volunteer with the cooking with Justin on the barbecue and serving people the tea and keeping them warm in the cold weather, and just generally volunteering around helping out wherever needs it,
Yes, and I can recommend those turkey burgers with the cranberry sauce. Very nice indeed.
Yes, they were very nice. Very rare you get turkey burgers, so we were lucky to get our hands on them, so we were.
I don't think I've ever had a turkey burger before, but I certainly will try one again. Yeah. And it being the festive season, it was very welcome today, because it is a bit nippy today now in Cross.
Yeah, it's very cold, but it's good to have the marquee up. It just, as memory making, as Justin said, people will come into the marquee and help themselves to a cup of tea and a couple of refreshments and just keep them warm, over the Christmas period.
And is this an annual event now? For how many years is this going, the Christmas market?
Christmas market's going, how long is it going? Just like every year, is it? Yeah, every year. But the market is every other Friday, every second or third week, I think, in the market here in Crossmidlen. So there's always something going on.
Is it your first time then helping out? Is it your first time cooking?
No, I've always been a keen cook and around the house and whenever I can cook. So Ian has let me volunteer, help me, help my cooking skills and help me.
One day maybe we'll be seeing a new TV chef called Martin McGuinness.
That's the dream anyway, yeah, hopefully.
And where are you from?
I'm from the village, just the village where Crossfire is based. So I've known about Crossfire most of my life, and Ian and Pauline, so I've been always sort of been involved with them.
And the market gets great support here, the monthly market gets great support here.
Yeah, always very welcome, always made very welcome, and always plenty of, people coming in, and always great support for the market. So there is.
The other thing I found is that every time we come down here, you get lots of little stories, backstories to things that happened over the years. Someone will always come up to you and say, "Do you know what happened over there in the square and so a year?" And nice stories as well, things that were funny that happened down through the years. So very warm people here, and they all have a story to tell, and it's not a bad story.
No, it's always a great vibe. As I said, very welcoming, and it seems to get better. Over the years. So it's always a good vibe around the market, around Crossmaglen in general.
Okay, thank you for talking to us. This has been Martin Markey talking to Martin McGuinness in Crossmaglen. So now we're speaking to Cliona Geraghty from the South Armagh Women's Rural Network. And can you tell us about the network, when it was set up and what you actually do,
The
Cliona?
network was established in 1999 to articulate the voice of rural women. But since then it has evolved. From about 2007, we run a big cross-border, cross-community programme, and it's specifically for women from the wider South Armagh area, North Louth and Market Hill, that region, Tandragee. We do a number of various things. We do a lot of craft classes where the women come together, the women from both traditions, from both sides of the border. We do crochet, knitting, art. We make fascinators.
Fascinators. Now, they're the things that we see on ladies on their hair at the Galway races and weddings and things like that.
Yes.
I was always fascinated by them.
Well, you can come and watch us making them. We make those. We have a very big Carrickmacross lace class running here in Crossmaglen, and we run the classes throughout the region, in different places. So we have a place in Forkhill that we run computers. We run a lot of the crafts in Forkhill. The Carrickmacross lace is run here in Crossmaglen, and it has 19 in the class. And the tutor, I'm sure she won't mind me saying, is a lady of over 80. And she's a fantastic, and they make a lot of Carrickmacross lace that's shipped out to America and places like that. We give the women the opportunity to tell their story because the majority of the women are victims of the conflict. Some of them lost their husbands or sons, and a lot of very sad stories. So a few years ago, we had funding from the Peace Programme, and we called the programme Behind the Masks, and it was based on the theory that as a woman, no matter what happens to you, you get up in the morning, you put on your face, and you go out and you face the world and you hide your troubles. So we got the ladies to make a mask. We had plastic masks, and they designed the masks, and they wrote their stories. And I don't know how this happened, but a lady in America heard about it and asked could she come over. So she was a professor. She came over and she sent a student over, and the student matched the masks with the stories, in case people didn't feel comfortable sharing their story. Another thing that we did was we did a thing called beadology, what we call it beadology, where the women made bracelets, and for each bead they told us part of their life, and we published them in a small booklet. The other thing we did was clay therapy, where we made various objects for Easter and for Christmas and for things like that. It's all very therapeutic. So the programme has worked extremely well. We're very, very fortunate. We're funded by the Victims and Survivors OFM DFM. They have given us money to run the office, for my salary, for the various crafts and things, for respite, what we call respite days, which would be social days. So we went and we have visited the Foundation of the Orange. We have visited Newgrange, where there was no religion and we weren't divided. And we have visited various things associated with St. Patrick and things like that. And we all get on extremely well, and what we have come to the conclusion is that we have more in common with each other as rural women than we have with maybe women from an urban area. So it doesn't really matter what religion we are or what side of the border we come from.
And what would the catchment area be for this group?
The catchment area is all of South Armagh, North Louth. We would have a few from Monaghan, and people from Market Hill, Tandragee, that catchment area as well.
And let's go back to the masks. What did can you give us an image of what they turned out like? With a sad mask, happy?
A lot of them did masks with tears. I'll tell you, one lady did a mask and it was black, and her son had been murdered. And she rang me about 3 weeks later and she said to me, I'm not happy with that mask. I want to change it, because everybody took the masks very serious. And she changed it, and she drew herself lying in the sun under an oasis, because she said she'd finally found her inner peace. A lot of them wrote, a lot of the stories were sad, but I mean, some of them made a sad mask, we'll say, 4 years ago, but now they're more content, so their mask is different. And we've mapped that too.
And it's usually the first thought that comes in your head that is the real one. So you think that the first mask she made was really her intention, except that she didn't want to show that to the world possibly, and she went back and
no, she
rethought
said
it.
Actually she said that prior to this she never had Catholic friends.
So that was the difference.
Yeah, and that now she has found her contentment. Like, her son was in the RUC and he was murdered, and she feels that, okay, obviously she still grieves for her son, but not all Catholics are bad. And she has made new friends, and while she still misses them deeply, she has healed somewhat.
So she sort of it's sort of crossed the bridge really, and reached out, and with the communities coming together. So it's a very good thing that you're doing.
Well, actually, this professor in America actually surveyed the women towards the end of the peace money, just to see what the impact the program had, and the comments were very moving. You know, a lot of the women never had the opportunity prior to that to mix, because during the Troubles you lived in your own area, you didn't go to school together, you didn't go on the bus together, and you were segregated, you know, even by geography. Although there's no massive peace walls here, you are segregated.
And would the schools have even maybe had going home time at different times, just to keep people separate?
I wasn't reared here, I don't know. But no, they probably did.
And where are you from yourself?
Sligo.
Yeah. And how did you end up in Crossmaglen?
Oh, God, a long story. How did I end up in Crossmaglen? Well, I used to live in Belfast, and I moved to Newry. And so I live in Newry now, though I work in Crossmaglen.
Thank you for talking to us today, Cleena. And we believe today is a very big day for you, because the community centre is closing today.
That's right.
And you're moving to?
We're moving to Forkhill for 9 months, to Forkhill Women's Centre. So I'll be based there. So hopefully I'll get a few visitors, because in Crossmaglen it's great, people call in and out to the office all day, every day.
And the good news is that when it reopens again in 9 months, that it's going to be bigger and better, a refit.
Yeah, much bigger and much better. A third story is going on it, because that community centre is actually one of the busiest community centres in Newry and Mourne. It's probably the busiest in Newry and Mourne. So we'll have our Carrickmacross lace back there, we'll have our computers, we'll have our knitting, crochet, clay, everything will be back.
And fully up to date.
Yes, indeed.